is going on YouTube? Arkez here, back with a brand new video for you guys today. Now what you're going to be watching is some Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered, and while I was recording this gameplay I was getting a lot of hit markers with Jug, and I was playing COD a lot today, and this Jug was just everywhere today. It feels like a lot of people were using Juggernaut today, more than usual. So it just led me to the topic of today's video, which is going to be what are the worst perks in Call of Duty history, why they're so bad, what the perk is, why they're useless or they're just annoying, or everything else to do with that perk. And I'm going to run down. I'm not going to rank them in order or anything. I'm just going to say all the perks from what Call of Duty and what they are. Juggernaut is the first perk that is on my list of the worst perks of all time in Call of Duty history. It is a perk that is from Modern Warfare, and more recently from Modern Warfare Remastered, the game that came out in 2007, the remastered version in 2017. It gives you extra health. That is the idea of the perk, is to give you extra health, and I think it's an absolute detriment to Call of Duty Modern Warfare. It just makes the game that much more less enjoyable for me. I remember back in 2007 that this game was so good, but Juggernaut was such a terrible perk, and now that it has been remastered, obviously it has not been changed because it is a remaster, that this perk has come back to life and is annoying people once again and is making people rage. This perk has the ability to turn your enjoyable game of Call of Duty, your enjoyable day of playing COD, into a terrible day and make you rage completely. The second perk on my list today as one of the worst perks in Call of Duty history is none other than Last Stand. Sometimes it is called Second Chance, but it has been in a lot of Call of Duties over the years, and in the Modern Warfare trilogy especially. I think every single game in the Modern Warfare trilogy has had some form of Last Stand, Final Stand, Second Chance. Some form of it has been in this game. I remember in Black Ops 1 they had a form of Second Chance where you could actually revive the players. I think Second Chance and Last Stand should not be in Call of Duty. Once you're dead, you should be dead. It shouldn't take extra bullets to kill you once you're on the ground. I think there's a useless perk too, because all you have is a pistol in your hand while you're on the ground, and I just think it's no use in Call of Duty. It has no place in Call of Duty. Why should you get an extra chance to survive when if you die, you die? That's how it should be in Call of Duty. There shouldn't be a second chance. And sometimes back in old Call of Duties, if you got the person to the ground and someone else come around and shoot them while they're on the ground, that would get your kill. I know that's been fixed in the newer Call of Duties, but that used to be a massive problem back in the past. Second Chance, Last Stand, whatever you want to call it, in my opinion, it has no place in Call of Duty. Marty Dime is the other perk that is on my list today as one of the worst perks in Call of Duty history. Marty Dime has been in a few different Call of Duties. I know it's been Modern Warfare 3, it's been in Modern Warfare, it might have been in all of the Modern Warfare trilogy. The idea of this perk is as you die, if you get killed, it drops a grenade as like a last attempt to kill the other player. And in a game like Modern Warfare, where the grenades are ridiculously OP, this is an overpowered perk because it can kill you off kill streaks. It can kill you because a grenade lands within 10 feet of you, because the grenades are so overpowered in this game. I do not believe in rewarding players for dying. I understand you want to give them incentive to return to the game if they're not very good and they're just casual players, but I do not agree with any system that rewards people for dying. Marty Dime, in my opinion, has no place in Call of Duty. It has pissed me off beyond belief because it has killed me multiple times. I remember one particular occasion in Modern Warfare 3 when I was one kill off a Moab, which was 25 or 30, I'm not sure which it was, 25 kills without any kill streaks, just using your gun, and you get a Moab, and I was on 24 kills, and I killed one guy, and he dropped the Marty Dime on me, and it killed me one off, and Buzz killed me one off a Moab. After that time, this perk has had no place in my Call of Duty game, anything to do with this perk. I do not want to talk about this perk. I do not want to play with this perk, and I hope it is not in any Call of Duty in the near future. The next perks on my list for some of the worst perks in Call of Duty history go in accordance with each other, and you guys will remember this from Modern Warfare 2 if you did play it. It is One Man Army and Danger Close. Danger Close is like 2 times explosive damage, so explosive damage is a lot higher, and One Man Army gave you the ability to change classes while you were in a class as you already picked it. So if you had One Man Army, you can change classes mid-game. So this And the thing with Modern Man Army that made it super overpowered was that as soon as you change classes, you got full ammo again, so you could change into the same class that you already were, and you get full grenades back in your noob tube again, and then you have double explosive damage with danger close. So this made this class super OP, and everybody was running it back in the Modern Warfare 2 days. I remember this very vividly. If there weren't hackers in Modern Warfare 2, there was noob tubers everywhere, and then there was hackers that were noob tubers. This was the birth of noob tubing, or grenade launching, whatever you want to call it. This was the birth of this, and these two perks made it possible for everyone to noob tube and get nukes and just use grenade launches to the absolute extreme. This was the birth of noob tubing, one man army and danger close, two of the worst perks of all time. Don't remember what Commando was. Commando gave you no full damage, you could fall off from anywhere and not fall and die, and it also gave you the ability to lunge people from 10 feet away. I don't know the exact measurements, but it felt like 10 feet away. You had to be within a large distance and you could just lunge someone. And if you put this in coordinates and combination with Marathon, Lightweight and Commando, and you put Tactical Knife on, this was the meta back in the day in Modern Warfare 2. I remember seeing people running around with this. You were quick, you had unlimited sprint, and you could lunge for miles. So people were just going around knifing. This was the birth of knifing. People just running around with a tactical knife, I'm pretty sure it was called. It had a knife and a gun. You're running around with Lightweight, Marathon and Commando, lunging everybody. This has been voted as one of the worst perks of Call of Duty history. I was reading on threads today, and people did not like this perk at all. They did not like being lunged from 10 meters away. It is a ridiculous perk, and it's laughable to think about it now, and I don't think it would ever make a return to Call of Duty. The next perk on my list is none other than Eavesdrop. This perk became useless, and it was useless from the beginning. It is from Call of Duty 4 again, yet another perk from Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. Eavesdrop gave you the ability to listen in on the other team while you were on one team. If they were in game chat, you could hear them the whole time within a certain distance of them. If you were in a certain distance from a player, you could hear them talking in game chat. But this is made non-existent and not relevant at all by today's party chat on the new generation consoles. You have party chat, and most people are in party chat because they don't want to be cut out from talking to their friends on loading screens, and they don't want other people hearing their conversations the whole time. So Eavesdrop is pretty much useless in this day and age. I know it was 10 years ago when this was brought in, and party chat was pretty much non-existent back then. Maybe on the 360 it was. Party chat was on the 360 back then, but game chat was more relevant. Eavesdrop is useless in today's game, in today's gaming, in today's Call of Duties. Flat Jacket is the next perk that makes this list just because of how overpowered it was. I'm basing this on Black Ops 2 gameplay because I didn't play World at War much, but I know it was terrible in that too. But Black Ops 2 Flat Jacket was terribly overpowered. You can get killed by Predator missiles, you get hit marked by that quite often. Grenades were very weak in this game, so it didn't make any difference or any dent into Flat Jacket, and it made this the most overpowered perk in Black Ops 2. You couldn't get killed by explosives, and you could just sit in hard points and dominations on flags and not get killed by grenades or Predator missiles because you had this perk on. It was ridiculously overpowered, and that is why it makes my list as one of the worst perks in Call of Duty history. Death streaks is the last thing that is on my list. I know it's not technically a perk, but death streaks were a thing. Yes, they were a thing back in the day. They were, especially in Modern Warfare 3. There was Final Stand, which was worse than Last Stand. When you went into Final Stand, Last Stand with a primary weapon, which made it even worse. You had Marty Dime as well. You had Painkiller in Modern Warfare 2, which gave you extra health as well. Death streaks were in the Modern Warfare trilogy a lot, and this I count as a perk as well. Death streaks are one of the worst perks in Call of Duty history. I hope they never make a return. I understand the incentive of trying to make it easier for casual gamers or first time gamers at this, so they're not dying every 2 seconds, but I do not agree. Again, I do not agree with rewarding people for dying too often. That is part of Call of Duty. You learn, you get better as you play, and you develop your abilities. That's how it works. I don't like death streaks being in Call of Duty, and I count this as a perk, and I count this as one of the worst ideas they've ever put into Call of Duty. Alright guys, that's going to do it for my video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, please drop a like. Let me know what you think the worst perks are in Call of Duty history. Let me know if you agree, you disagree, any feedback, suggestions in the comment section below. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.